Okay, let's hit the new flow button. Boom. So we are going to make an auto-launched flow, this one. Why? Because the flow will trigger when we change this into true. So if the repeat current level is true and it's saved or changed or updated, that will trigger this flow. So that is why we are using an auto launch flow. There will be no screen involved. Okay? And let's go ahead and create. Now we have a blank canvas here. So first things first, we want to pass the opportunity, which is this one, into the flow. Okay? We want to pass the opportunity into the flow. And I want to pass the opportunity ID. Okay? You're following me so far? So back to the flow here. I am going to create a new input variable. Input variable. Why is it input? Because we are inputting the opportunity ID into the flow. Alright? So let's go to the manager to create a new resource here. And resource type would be a variable. And we are going to name this swimming lesson ID or opportunity ID. The ID of the opportunity, okay? The record ID of the swimming lesson, or let's say it the original swimming lesson. Why do we say original? Because we are actually wanting to copy or clone the original and make a new opportunity, a new swimming lesson. Okay? So go back to our flow here. What is the data type? It is a text because we are passing the ID and just one. I'm going to make it available for input. Okay? Available for input because we are inputting again the opportunity ID into the flow. Got that so far? So far so good. Done. So now we have a variable called swimming lesson ID. So once we got that, I want to get the values of what I want to copy. What do we want to copy? I want to copy the name, the account name, well, pretty much everything here, right? So let's go at it one by one. And for each value, I want to store that in its own variable. Okay? So let's get the record. So we want to get this data from the original opportunity or swimming lesson. Okay? So therefore, I'm going to go to elements and get records because we are getting the records, right? The value. So get records. What are we getting? The original swimming lesson. Let's call it that. So what object is the original swimming lesson? It's on the opportunity object, right? Opportunity object on the top here. So now we want to filter. Which opportunity do we want to get? Which one? Well, we want to get this one. How do we know if we want to get this one? By the record ID. This is the record ID here. 0066G00 and so on. This is the record ID. So we want to say on the flow, get the record where the ID, right, equals what? Equals the swimming lesson ID, which we will pass into the flow. So we will pass this into the flow, and this will catch that in here. And then we are going to query the database, the Salesforce records, and where the ID is here, right? Get only the first record because it's only one record. We are not getting a lot of records, just one record. And store, what do we want to store? Well, pretty much everything. So let's go back here and see. Let's start with opportunity name. All right, we want that. We want the name. Boom. Okay, and then go back here. What do we want? We don't want a close date because we are going to create a new close date, but which is the day of today. So we're gonna skip this. The stage, we are going to make our own stage of prospecting, because when we create a new swimming lesson, it's not a done deal yet. The parent would have to agree and then make payment, and then it's going to be changed to closed one. So therefore, I don't need that. So I need the lesson start date, the original one, and lesson end date, and start time and end time. So this 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's add that onto here. So lesson start date here, and then lesson end date, and then we want the time as well. Lesson start time there, and then we want lesson end time. All right, let's go back. So we got those 4, and then the level, of course, we want to know what level to repeat, right? To repeat, so I want the level as well. And then I want the swimming pool, the instructor, and the student. Okay, let's go back here. First, I want the level, and then I want the instructor, and then I want the pool, I want the student, and I also want the account itself, the mom or the dad, the account ID. The account is this one here. If I hit cancel, here's the account, right? The parent, Martin Culver. So we want to get that value as well. So we pretty much get everything, right? And yeah. So we got all of those, and I'm going to hit save here. And I'm going to hit done here. So done. So now we got the records we need from the opportunity. I'm going to link this over here. Boom. Okay, what did we do so far? So far, we create a flow where it will receive the opportunity ID into the flow, and then from there, it's going to get the values of the original opportunity, which is this one. We want to know all of it because we want to copy it. Okay, we want to copy this whole thing here. So we store that into this opportunity, get opportunity original swimming lesson element. Okay, so done. So you get the original value, but then you want to change the value. You want to change the value a bit. All right. So therefore, I am going to assign that value to another value. Okay. Update original swimming lesson values. Let's call it that. So what are we going to change? If I go back here, the name would be the same, right? Or maybe let's add repeat. Okay, so we know it's a repeat opportunity. So let's do that. So the name of the opportunity, opportunity from original swimming lesson, right? The name of it we are going to change that into the name. Oops. The opportunity from original swimming lesson name. But then we are going to add repeat from the there. So the name would be repeat and then swim kids level 1. Got that? So next on, we are going to assign, everything else is the same, right? The account name is the same, and the close date. The close date, we want to change to today's date, okay? Add assignment, close, opportunity, swimming lesson, close date equals today's date. So go to flow global variables there, and then current date, okay? That's done. So at assignment, what else do we want to change? This is the same. Oh, the lesson start date and the lesson end date. Let's change this to 1 week after. All right, 1 week after this date. So 7 days after. Therefore, I want to assign the lesson start date. Let's type start. Lesson start date equals the original date plus 7 days. Well, how do you do that? You have to use a formula, okay? Equals, it has to be a new resource, and then you choose a formula, okay? Because we want to add the days. The resource type would be a formula, and this would be swimming or 7 days after lesson start date. Okay, so this is a date in the future. The data type would be a date, and the formula would be this one, opportunity from original swimming lesson. The start date plus 7 days. So that's the formula. Okay, so we're gonna hit done. So we are going to change the lesson start date to be the lesson start date plus 7 days for this example here. So if we have December 16th as the start date of the original lesson, so the new one, the new lesson is going to be on the 23rd, okay, plus 7 days. That's what is going to happen, and that's what we are assigning. Same thing with original swimming lesson here. Lesson end date, not the time, equals you drive now. What? New resource, and then formula, and then name it 7 days after lesson and date. Okay, so data type would be date, and then this would be this, and lesson and, or just type and date plus 7 days, just plus 7, like so. Done. Okay, so far so good. Let's see, we have set the name, we have set the date here. Let's set the level. The level would be the same, right? So let's set the level. Opportunity original swimming lesson level, swim kids level here equals the same, which is swim kids, the opportunity here level, swim kids level there. So it's the same, it's just copying, okay? We assign and we copy that. And then what else do we need to change? Let's see here. The level, we want to set the swimming pool, instructor, and student, okay? So let's go ahead. Original swimming lesson, pool, equals original pool. Okay, same thing. Original swimming instructor, original instructor. There. And then student, this one, student equals original student. Okay. Now, lastly, I want to add the account as well. The original account ID is also the same, original account ID. There. Okay, so we've done all that. Next, I want to add the close date. We've done the stage would be prospecting. Original stage name equals prospecting. Okay, so we have stage name, we have this account, that swimming pool level. Let's see if I go back here. Did we miss something? No, it looks good, right? So okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and save this and hit done. So first we get the records, right? Boom. And then we assign the record. We change the values to the one we want here. Okay, we change the values to the one we want, and then we want to create the record. So create the record. There, create new repeat swimming lesson. All right, so one record, use all values from a record variable, and this one. Okay, so we are copying that and then done. So now we are going to link it over here. Boom. Okay, so that's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. But before we go on and copy our swimming items here, swimming lesson items, I want to test this out because I don't want to go too further and it ends up breaking and we don't know which one is breaking because it's already too complex. So with this, I'm going to save this and say repeat swimming lesson flow. Okay, create a new swimming lesson from the current one that failed. Not failed, from the current one, so it's not confusing. Okay, so I'm going to save this and I want to activate that. Now, before we do that, we want to create a process that actually is triggering this. So when this is checked, right, I want that flow to trigger. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. If I go back to my flow builder, let's do this one, and I go back to here and process and process here, process builder, and go here. So let's make a new one. Let's name it repeat swimming lesson here, and create a new swimming lesson from the current one. Okay, the process starts when what? When a record changes. Why? Because when this changes, this hasn't been checked, and now the instructor checked this, so the record changes. Please execute the flow. When a record changes, what is the object? Is opportunity. Opportunity is the object. We have 3. That's okay. When a record is created or edited. So why is it popping this up? It says you already have 3 opportunity processes. Please combine them together. That's the best practice. But as this is a Trailhead practice, we will just ignore that. But as you go more and more advanced, you would want to combine everything into one huge process for each object. Okay, that's the best practice. But for this is learning purposes, we are going to make it simple and ignore that. All right, save. So I add a criteria when the not student fail. Let's see, repeat current level. I'm going to go back here, say repeat current level true, right? So when will the process or the flow runs? When the conditions are met. What conditions? This repeat current level condition is equals true. True means check, right? So if it's checked is true, this is false. True, false. True, false. True, false. Okay? So if it's true, and when it's changed, so it's true, but under the advanced here, I'm going to say only when it's changed. Do you want to execute the actions only when specified changes are made? So only when it's changed. If it's already true, if it's already checked, and you added something else like this, it won't create a new swimming lesson. Otherwise, it will keep create a new swimming lesson every time you change something to a different value. Okay, so we don't want that. So I'm going to cancel that out. So I'm going to go back here and save this guy. Okay. So now we are going to add an action which is executing the flow. Action type is flow. And action name, create new swimming lesson. Let's just name it like that. What flow? This flow. Repeat swimming lesson flow. And what variable you want to pass the opportunity ID? The swimming lesson ID equals a field reference of the opportunity ID. At the bottom here, opportunity ID or record ID here. Boom. So you would want to pass that opportunity ID into the flow, and then it's going to start get the records, reassign the value, and create a new one here. Got that? So I am going to save this. So with that being saved, let's activate this. Activate confirm. So this is activated. What happens if we change this to true? It will create a new opportunity saying repeat swim kits 1 with the new values. But it will have blank items because we haven't created that in the flow, which we will after this. So I want to make sure the opportunity creation itself will trigger just fine and it will create a new opportunity. And let's go and try that. All right. So I'm going to say this as a swimming instructor. Oh, you have to repeat it, William. Let's repeat it. Okay. Okay. And then you save that. Boom. Oh, we have an error. Let's take a look at the error there. So something went wrong, but if this happens, don't freak out. We just need to investigate what's going on. Okay. So I'm going to pop up my email and take a look at the error. So we have 2 here. You check your email if you have an error and see an error occurred. So you want to see at the bottom usually if it's have any helpful information. So this one doesn't have a very helpful information. Why did it not work? So I'm going to check the other error and say successfully found record. So store the values of these original swimming lessons. Oh, the flow failed to access the value of original swimming lesson dot account ID because it hasn't been set or assigned. We missed that. Okay. So this is a good example. If you hit an error when creating the flow, you check your email. The flow will send an error email to your email address. So make sure, if I go back here, and here, and actually here, and if you go to your setup again, make sure your users here, your user have your own personal email address. Okay, you need to change and modify your user, your Trailhead Playground user, to use your email address here, student@zone.io. This needs to be your email address, because all the flow errors, it will send out those errors to this email. If this email is not your email, you will never get the error message. You don't know what's going on, right? So now we know what's going on. It says we forgot to assign the account ID, and let's fix that. I go back here, and I want to change this get records. I probably missed the account ID here. See? I didn't assign the account ID there. So account ID, we want that. So let's check swim kids level, name, start date, end date, start time, end time, level, instructor pool, student account, and done. Let's double check. Name, close date is a new date. This is good. Okay, looks good. So now we are going to save as a new version. Okay, a new version, and save. And then you always have to activate. Okay, that's it. Now we have activated that, and let's give this a try again. I'm going to hit cancel and cancel. And try it one more time, repeat current level, and save. Boom. Let's see, if I go back to William, woohoo! This is the original, this is the repeat swim kids one. It is working, baby. Go back here. So repeat swim kids one, it's all look good. Look at that, it's still prospecting, right? And the date is on the next week, and the lesson is the same, and then one pool is good, instructor is all good. So this is the more challenging and exciting part. We are going to play with loops. Okay, so before that, we want to get all this. Let me go back to the original opportunity. Now we want to get all these records. We want to get this and then copy it over. Got it? So let's do just that. Okay, so let's head back to the flow builder. Now we want to get records again, but now we want to get the swimming lesson items here that was linked to this opportunity. All right, let's do just that. So I'm going to get records, put it probably here, boom, get swimming lesson items. Okay, get all the swimming lesson items from the original swimming lesson. What object would that be? Opportunity product, right? The child object, opportunity product, or opportunity line item is the API name. So we choose the object. So which one? Which opportunity project do you want, dude? So I want these ones. All that are linked to this opportunity. Remember, we have passed this into the flow, right? We passed this record ID here, right, into the flow, and it's called swimming lesson ID. So I'm going to make a criteria. Which one? The ones that has linked to, or the opportunity ID equals what? The swimming lesson ID, right? That would be here, swimming lesson ID. So get all the items that are linked to the swimming lesson ID or the opportunity ID. Okay? So do you want to get everything or just one? Well, I want to get everything. Give me all of it, like all that is linked, like 5 on this case. So get all of it. All right? And then what do you want to save? Well, pretty much everything, because we are going to reassign everything. So I want everything. Okay? So, but then you have to do it manually. You have to just choose. Okay? So I'm just going to go ahead from the top to bottom. All right? So I don't want to create a date. I want the description. And save this. Done. So now get the records from the original swimming lesson. Get everything. After you get everything there, you are going to need to bring this loop. Okay, so loop over here. Loop through what? I want to loop through this, right? Like boom, 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 like that. Loop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Loop through this, all right, which is the opportunity products which we just get. All right, so loop through swimming lesson items. All right, so what is that? This one, opportunity product from get swimming lessons. That is the collection. Okay, so when we get the records, it's all being stored on this collection. Okay, so how are you going to loop it? From the first item to the last item. Now you need to loop variable. So each record is going to be stored on this variable. So it has to match the same object. Okay, it's going to be a variable and it's going to be lesson item loop. Let's name it like that. The data type has to be a record and it has to be the same object, which is opportunity products. Product. Okay. So done. So that's the loop variable. So we are going to loop through this record, and when it's looping, it needs to store all the values of this, each and every one of these through this variable. Okay, done. So now you're gonna loop through it. Okay, you're gonna pull this over to here. Bam. Now, what do you want to do? You want to change the value or do you want to assign it? Well, what value do you want to change? If you go back here, nothing is changed. Probably the pass. I want the pass to be blank, unchecked. Other than that, there is nothing changed. I just want the product to be linked not to this one, but to the new opportunity. You got it? So the only assignment, well, we have to reassign everything because it has to have a value. So let's do assignment here. Assignment, when you loop, assign lesson item to the new opportunity. Let's do it like that. Okay. Okay. First things first, we want to assign the ID of this new lesson item. So the ID of this new lesson item we are copying, not to this one, to the newly created opportunity. Okay, so if I go back here, so I want to assign this loop variable and the opportunity ID of this to equal to the newly created opportunity which we have created on here, right? It says create new repeat swimming lesson. So let's grab that, create new repeat swimming lesson. So that's the opportunity. So this product or this lesson item will be linked to the newly created opportunity or swimming lesson. So it goes there. This is the value and it will go to the variable. You got that? The second assignment we want to do is we want to change the pass, right? So lesson item loop pass. We will want to make it false. Okay, so global false. So equivalent to false, unchecked, or no. So what is it doing here? Basically, I want to uncheck everything because it's going to be a new swimming lesson. So nothing is passed yet. The student have to redo their whole lesson and they have to make it all over again. Okay, so I want to uncheck everything here. Okay, so that's basically the assignment we are doing. We want to link it and we want to change the value of the past into false. Okay, done. So that's the assignment we are doing. We are going to loop here, and then for each item in the collection we want to loop. After the last item we want to create the record. So done, right? So we have the get records, we have the loop, and we're changing the loop. Then we have to actually put that into a new collection which has the updated values. All right, so let me bring that over first. I'm going to make a new here. Store the updated lesson item to collection. Let's name it like that. Okay, so the variable, we don't have it yet, but the variable we are going to make a new resource. It's going to be a collection of record. Okay, a variable. It is going to be updated product or swimming lesson item. The data type would be a record. It would allow multiple values, and the object would be opportunity product. There. Okay, so hit done. So we have an updated swimming lesson item collection variable. So it's like a bucket. So what I want to do is add this, the loop, right? The updated loop, right? Into there. Like lesson item loop ID, or just loop into here, right? Add there. So I'm going to tell you how it's going to work. I'm going to drag it there. Oops. And then it's going to go back here again. So that's the loop. Okay. That's the loop. Oh, it was looking nice before. Okay. And then afterwards, we are going to create the records. Create new swimming lesson items. It's multiple. It's from that new one, updated swimming lesson item. Done. And we are going to link after last item, do this. So I'm going to drag it there. So after the last item, create the record. So let's tell the story. First, we get the records here, which is this records. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 records, right? So we grab that 5 records on this element. Oh no, on these elements. After we grab that 5 elements, we want to loop through those 5. To loop through those 5, we need a loop variable. So we get that, we get the swimming lesson items, and we are going to loop each and every one of them using this loop variable. All right. So it's going to start going through this flow. What are we going to do? We are going to change the checkbox to false the checkbox here to false, and I want to relink this whole product to a new one, not this one, the newly created opportunity which we create from here, right? So that is what this is doing. It's changing the opportunity ID to the newly created one, which is create new repeat swimming lesson, and then uncheck all the pass mark because they have to redo it again, right? The student. So that's what it's doing. So once they change the value, we want to store it in a collection variable. So you store those updated records into here. Store it here 5 times because it's gonna loop, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every time it loops, store it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is keep adding those records into this bucket here. Collection variable, let's mention it a bucket, okay? So it's going to be stored there, and then you create it here. Here. Create records out of those buckets. Why do you want to do that? Why don't you just create it inside the loop? Because if you create the records inside the loop, if you put this create record inside the loop, it's going to hit a limit. In Salesforce, it's going to break, okay? If you have too many products on here, like you have 100, you're going to break and hit a limit. So we don't want to do that. What we do is we collect it by assignment here into a collection variable bucket. So once it's all collected in the bucket is getting full, and then it's going to be created with one shot. Boom, one shot over here. Boom. If you have 100 assignment, all 100 records will be created here. Boom. So not 1, 2, and as you're gonna hit a limit and it's gonna break there. Okay, so that's done. Let's save this as a new version. Like usual, save that and activate always after you save it. So let's go ahead and test this out. All right. So if I go back to SwimKids 1 and I'm going to undo this first and save. And now I'm going to actually repeat current level. So now this time it should create a new opportunity, and it's also going to create all these 5 swimming lesson items onto the newly created opportunity and uncheck all of this. So this will be blank, okay? The level 1, the top one, develop from front and back float. This should be unchecked afterwards. Let's go ahead and do that. Save. Oh, another error. Okay, that's fine. That is a normal life. Okay, so let's check out what's going on there. This one maybe is more helpful. Scroll down. Error occurred here. Oh, opportunity ID value of incorrect type. Okay, I think I know what it means. If I go back here to the flow, so the cause of that is this assignment here. This is wanting an opportunity ID, right? But this is actually the whole record, not just the opportunity ID. So since we can't change this to opportunity record, we have to get the ID. So what we need to fix is on the create record here, we use the record variable, right? Use all the values from a record variable. So we actually wanted to change that. Why? I'll show you. So we have to change this. I'm going to search. We are going to create an opportunity on here. So now we can store this opportunity ID, the one we have just created, into its own ID there, right? So, okay, but before we do that, we want to assign each field. Let's start with the name again. And the name of the opportunity would equal the value of the assignment. or the original. Where's the original opportunity? If I scroll down here, record single variable opportunity from original swimming lesson. Here, the name. So basically we have assigned that from the previous assignment. So I'm just going to get all of this into here, right? The name, basically everything. I'm just going to close this out and cancel. We want the name, the account, and then close date, right? So let's go ahead and build that. Basically, I'm going to go back here and here at field, the account is the original there, original account. So let me spare you the time, and I'm gonna fill this out so you know what I'm doing, right? And I'm gonna get back to you. 1 second, please. So I have added all of it. Name, account ID. So name goes there, account ID, instructor, pool, student, the level of the swimming kids, start date, end date, start time, end time, and close date, and the stage name. And I want to store, this is the very important one, to store the opportunity ID in a new resource. Let's call it a text variable. And I'm going to say new swimming lesson ID. Okay, the data type would be text, and that's it. Done. So this is going to be stored in the swimming lesson ID over here, and we are going to hit done. So that is created. So here we just change to this kind of an assignment, and I'm going to change the assignment over here to the newly created ID. So that would be the variable new swimming lesson ID. So now we have an actual ID which is wanted by the variable there. Done. And then you have to save as a new version. Save that. So after saving, always activate it. Boom. So now we have an active updated flow, and let's give it a try. Back to SwimKids 1. So say William Culver have to repeat the swimming lesson. So we check that box and hit save, and it should trigger our flow. Create a new one with name repeat SwimKids 1 and all the details there. Boom. There you go. So now if I go to the William Culver and scroll down, it should be under opportunities over here. If I reload, come on. There. We have new one, repeat SwimKids 1. So it should have the products over here. See? So, and it's all blank. So we did it. We have created a new repeat SwimKids 1, and it's blank. And now the receptionist can confirm and decide with the parent the time and the end time when is most suitable for them, and the date is already booked for next week. So that's how you go through the, what was it? Go through the loops there, and I hope you learned something. And if you're a bit overwhelmed and confused, I suggest you to re-watch the video. Okay? And I'll see you on the next trail. Oh, not yet. We have a quiz here. Alright, let's do the quiz. So a record variable can store what? A set of field values for a single record, a set of field values for multiple records that have the same object type. Yeah, A and B, not this one. For which use case is it appropriate to combine the process and flow? post to an internal chattel group, clone a record and its children. Yeah, that's what we just did. Delete a related record. Yeah, B and C. Inside a loop, you should avoid what? Executing actions, right? That's why we create the actions outside of the loop. So it's looping through here and put it under the bucket here, right? And then create it outside. After last item, you create the records or update the records there. So that would be the answer. And we are going to go submit. Whoops. A record variable can store what? A set of field values for a single record, a set of field values for multiple records of the same object types. Well, that's right. It's A and B. Let's do that. Boom. But I doubt it. I think it's A and B. Anyways, I will see you on the next trail where we'll do customize how records get approved. Or its approval process. Good job, guys. Bada bing, bada boom. Hit that subscribe button and explore new Trailhead grounds and learn to implement the most useful and popular apps on the Salesforce App Exchange. And do yourself a favor, like this video and you'll be surprised on how much more you understand when watching this same video after liking it. Don't take my word. Watch this one more time after you like the video and see it for yourself. Bada bing, bada boom.